Hi, I'm Bree, and I'm so happy you could be here today. Today, we're actually going to focus on one of my favorite things in the whole world, restorative yoga, specifically one for resting and digesting. All restorative yoga is designed to help soothe our parasympathetic nervous system, so it's known to help reduce stress and aid in a better night's sleep, amongst a myriad of other things that happens when our parasympathetic nervous system is soothed. So that's what we'll be working on today. If you've never done restorative yoga before, it is a very slow moving practice with a lot of props involved. So for today, we'll need a bolster or a couple of pillows, at least 2 blankets, and 2 blocks at least. So, long story short, when I say slow moving, that's because we're holding the postures for a long time. That sounds scary if I were to tell you that you're going to hold the posture for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. But we have all of these props here to help support us so that we're not using our muscles to hold ourselves into a posture. We are using these props to support ourselves and let our muscles and bodies kind of melt into the posture. So ideally, we're not having to hold ourselves up, the props are doing it for us. I think that covers it. So whenever you're ready, maybe hit pause, take a moment to grab all your props and get them together, and then we'll get going. Welcome back. All right, so we're gonna start today lying down. So if your props are all on your mat like mine, take a moment to clear them off. And once we lie down, we're going to bring a bolster underneath of our knees. If you like a little bit of support for your head, you're welcome to use a blanket for kind of like a pillow, but we want to make sure our shoulders are also resting on the blanket so that we're not crunching our neck. So take a moment to get yourself set up in a comfortable place lying down. Then I usually like to slide the bolster underneath of my knees before I lie down. It's a little easier for me. And then we'll come to lying down, check in that your shoulders are on the blanket if you're also using that as a pillow, so we're not crunching. Or if you're just using one blanket like this, it's okay for your shoulders to be off the blanket as long as you don't feel like your neck is crunching up. And then bolster supporting underneath of your knees. Legs can extend long, or for some it feels nice to let the knees kind of open wide slightly, like the feet and big toes are coming towards each other. Words. And then once you're where you find a comfortable place everywhere else, your arms can rest down along your sides, palms turned to face up. And then take a moment to settle in here, especially if you're doing this at the end of the day, starting to let go of those daily jitters. Maybe give the fingers a wiggle and the toes. And allow yourself the space to settle in. Starting to draw your awareness into this present moment. Letting go of everything from your day. And when it tries to pop back up in your mind, which it will, that's natural, acknowledge it rather than immediately pushing it away. Acknowledge that thought. And then tell yourself, I'll come back to that later. For now, I'm going to focus on myself and my body in this moment. And as you start to settle in, allow your awareness to turn to your breath. Noticing all those spaces in your body where you can feel your breath moving in and out. Feeling that soft rise and fall of the chest and the belly as you breathe. And if it's comfortable for you here, I invite you to take a slow, deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And return to breathing naturally in and out through your nose as you settle in here. As you start to breathe into stillness here, start to notice any spaces in your body where you might be holding tension. Any clenching in the belly or the shoulders or the neck, the hips, the thighs. Allowing yourself the space to scan through your body and notice and acknowledge these spaces of tightness or tension or clinging on. And trying not to judge those spaces, simply recognizing that they are there. Draw your attention to them. And as your attention fills that space like a pool, encourage that area to soften. Asking softly for release. And with your awareness, imagine that your breath moves into these spaces of tension. Your in-breath bringing fresh, new oxygen and energy, soothing away the tension in that space. Your out-breath drawing the tension out and up, leaving your body with the breath. Inhaling to invite in softness and settling of those muscles. And exhaling to let go of any clinging or tightness or tension. As you settle in deeper, let your awareness rest with the breath, following it as it moves in and out. If at any time your body asks you for another deep breath, take it slow and soft in through your nose and out through your mouth. And then let it settle back to its natural depth and rhythm. And if you're comfortable here, I invite you to stay here. That's the beauty of restorative yoga. If you find a comfortable place, you're doing it. And you can stay there as long as you like. I'm just here to act as a guide, to give you options. If you feel like you're ready to move, start just by deepening your breath. And then when ready, bring soft movement to your fingers and your toes, a slow, gentle reawakening of the body. And perhaps letting that movement work its way up to your wrists, your ankles. And when you feel ready to move, start gently. Maybe walk the feet in a little bit closer and reach down and slide the bolster out from underneath of you. Then when you feel ready to come up, I recommend rolling to one side and pressing yourself up rather than trying to do a crunch to get up. Then once up all the way, take a moment to move and shift in any way that feels right. I usually like to go to hands and knees and move through a few rounds of cat and cow. It's because I like that movement in the spine. It feels like a nice way to start to reawaken. We don't want to awaken too much, so don't do anything too demanding. Maybe stretching one leg out and then the other. Then whenever you feel ready, we're going to make our way to our next posture, which is going to be a supported twist. So I like to be lifted kind of high for this one, but if you know that you want to lay down most of the way, you can place your bolster or pillows flat on the mat. But I like to make a little ramp with mine so it's up higher. So to make the ramp, you'll need your 2 blocks and then have one at the back of the mat on its medium height like this. Then one directly in front of that on its shorter height like this. And they'll be touching. And when they're touching, you'll bring your bolster to rest on those. And I always recommend a shake test. So give it a little wiggle, make sure it feels stable. If it does, you're golden. And then from here, I like to have a blanket on either side of the bolster just as support for the elbows, but this is not a requirement. I just like a little extra cushion. And then we'll come to seated next to the bolster so that the left thigh is resting against the base of the props. Legs can go however is comfortable here. They can be stacked. I like to kind of rest the calf of the top leg in the arch of the bottom foot. It makes me feel like a mermaid. And then to come into this next posture, we're going to start by inhaling and lifting up tall, supporting our spine. And then exhaling to twist to our left and bring your hands to frame your bolster. Once your hands are framing the bolster, on an exhale, you'll start to slowly walk your hands forward until you lower yourself all the way down. Then once lowered down, you can adjust those blanket cushions for your elbows, if you like using those. And then let your cheek come to gently rest on your bolster. Now here you can let either cheek rest. You can do a left cheek if that feels good in the neck, or to complete the twist, you would look all the way to the right and look over, whichever feels best in your body. So take your time to find that comfortable place. Then once you have, we'll do that same thing, allowing ourselves the space to settle in, checking in with how our body feels, noticing if there's any spaces of tension or tightness. And if we find those spaces, sending our breath back there with our intention, encouraging it gently to soften and settle. And if at any time a deep breath sounds right for your body, I invite you to take one. Deep and slow in through the nose. and out through the mouth. Return to breathing naturally as you settle in. Bring soft movement back to your fingers and your toes. And when you're ready to come out of this posture, we'll come out the same way that we came in. So slowly walking the hands in to lift the torso. Once lifted, take a moment to move in any way that feels right. Maybe stretching up tall. And then when you're ready, we'll take the same posture opposite side. So the easiest way to do that is to move to hands and knees and shift so that your right thigh is at the bolster. Hands can frame the bolster. Inhale, extend the spine. Exhale, start to slowly crawl your hands forward. Same option for the neck here. You can rest your right cheek on it or the left, just depending on what feels best for your neck. And again, allowing yourself the space to settle in, to soften. Noticing how your body feels on this other side. If anything feels different, that's normal. The two sides of our body are a little different. Not judging the things that we feel, just acknowledging them as part of our reality today. Wherever you are, keep breathing. And whenever you feel ready, begin to gently deepen your breath. Bring that soft movement back to your fingers and your toes. And when you're ready, gently press yourself up to a comfortable seat. You can keep your bolsters in this ramp setup because we're going to use it next time, but take a moment to move in any way that feels nice. Any movement that your body is asking for, as long as it's soft and gentle. And then whenever you're ready, we'll take our next posture, which is a supported bound angle pose. We've done this in a video before, but if you've never done this one, it's my personal favorite. So to get there, we'll scoot back so that the base of our spine is touching the bolster. So scoot all the way back and then check in that it's there. And then we'll need one of our blankets. I keep mine folded the same way every time so I can explain this easier. We'll unfold it twice from how it was folded. So we want like a bigger rectangle. And then once you have that, we'll roll it up. Then once that's rolled, sit it aside for a moment and we'll bring the soles of the feet to touch, knees open wide, but let the feet slide out away from the body just a little bit so that our legs are in more of a diamond shape rather than creating tension in our muscles from trying to hold them in really close. And then take your blanket roll, sit the middle of it on top of your ankles, and we'll tuck the ends underneath and kind of reach through to pull them up snug. So they're supporting your lower legs, they're supporting your knees. It's like a little hug for your feet. And then from here, we're going to come all the way back to lying down. So bring your hands to the base of the bolster. Inhale, sit up tall. Then exhale, start to slowly lower down. Then once down and resting, if your elbow doesn't touch the floor and that's uncomfortable for you, if you have extra blankets, you can use those underneath of your elbows for a little support in whatever way you need. Fold them up, get them tall. Or if you have extra blocks, you can use those under your elbows. Anything that you need to feel supported and stable here. Then arms can rest down out along the sides, palms turning to face up. Staying open to positive energy coming in through our palms. And as you start to find where you feel comfortable in this posture, start to turn your awareness back inward, noticing any sensation in your body. Noticing anything that might be speaking up. And if it's painful, we want to readjust so that we're not in pain, we're supported. But if what we're feeling is a tension or tightness that isn't painful, breathe into that space. And as we breathe, starting to slowly let our muscles soften and settle into space. If it's comfortable for you here, I invite you to take a slow, deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Return to breathing naturally here, in and out through your nose. Allow yourself the space to settle in, to soften, to be present in this moment, in this body, on this mat. And as before, if you're comfortable here, I invite you to stay here and keep breathing. But if your body feels ready to move, start gently by deepening your breath. And then bringing soft movement to your fingers and your toes. And then taking a moment to move your wrists. And when you're ready to move your legs, use your hands to help draw the legs back together. Slide that blanket off to the side. And then you can come up either by slowly and carefully rolling off to the side of your props or walking the hands in to support you as you lift back up to seated. So from here, we're going to come into Shavasana, our final resting pose. And if your torso being propped up and supported feels good for you, you can keep that there and lay back on these with the legs extended. I am going to actually remove the blocks from behind the bolster. And bring back my, well, that one's all rolled up, so we'll use the other blanket. Bring back my blanket to use for a bit of a pillow for my head. And come back to where we started, actually, with the bolsters under the knees, because if you've been here long, you know that that's my favorite. I like that support underneath of the knees for Shavasana. And taking your time, making yourself comfortable. If you need to move or adjust in any way, take the time to do so. And then legs can extend straight out long, or if there's that bolster under your knees, long-ish, bend at the knees. And then take a moment to settle in and find what's comfortable here. Maybe letting the head rock gently side to side. Finding its natural center of gravity and then settling in. Taking this one last opportunity in our practice to tune in. Notice what we feel and where we feel it. Acknowledging those spaces and sending a little energy and breath their way. It may feel nice here to take one last slow, deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Return to breathing naturally in and out through your nose. And draw your awareness all the way down to your toes. Ask the muscles in your toes to soften, settle in, release tension. And as you feel that softness, allowing it to work its way up through the balls of the feet, the arches, the heels. And feel it slowly starting to work its way up through the ankles, the calves and shins, the knees. Start to feel those large muscles in our thighs and our hips to soften and settle in. Feeling all the while ourselves growing heavier into gravity. Feel that softness starting to move up into the muscles of the belly, the back, the chest. Allow your awareness to swim down to your fingertips. Feeling that softness and release of the muscles start there. And as it grows, working its way up through the palms, the wrists, forearms, elbows, upper arms and shoulders. Soften the muscles of your neck, your jaw, your cheeks, your eyelids, your forehead. Allow your tongue to gently fall away from the roof of your mouth. Feeling the body as a whole now soft, heavy, settled into the earth. Allow yourself this space to breathe here in this stillness. And gently begin to deepen your breath. When you feel ready, bring soft movement back to your fingers, your toes, wrists, and ankles. It may feel nice to stretch along like you just woke up this morning. And then whenever you feel ready, being mindful any props you might be on, gently roll to lying on your right side. Take a moment there to just breathe. Reconnect to your breath, your body, and the space all around you. And whenever you feel ready, gently press yourself up to a comfortable seated position. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope the rest of your day is calm and restful. Remember to drink plenty of water. We may not have moved a lot, but the body learned some new things. Thank you so much. Hey, thanks for joining me for practice. I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked what we did here today, be sure to like and subscribe and leave me a comment about what you might want to see next time. Thanks.